Hi there, I'm Mrs. Weiss. Welcome to Latin Storytime. Today I'm going to tell you the story of Willie Mouse. But first, let me introduce you to the Latin words we'll be using in today's story. Here is Luna. Luna shines bright in the sky at night. Sometimes it's a full luna, and other times when it seems to be hiding, we call it a new luna. Now here is caseus. Caseus is a yummy snack made from milk. You might have it with some bread or crackers, or you might have it on top of pasta. Then here is Strix. Strix is a bird that you might hear hooting, especially at night. And little mice should beware, because Strix has an appetite for little mice. Let's hope one doesn't catch Willie Mouse today. Then we have Wea. There are many weai that go through the forest where people hike, or there are weai that cars travel on. Today, Willie Mouse is trying to find a specific weam that will take him to Lunam. Then our last word is rogo. When you have a question, you rogas someone for the answer. Or at Christmas, many children will rogant Santa Claus for some gifts. All right, now we're ready to hear the story of Willie Mouse. Willie Mouse had often heard his ma and pa say that Lunam was made of green caseo, and one evening he thought that he would see if he could find it. He packed up a piece of casei and a crust of bread, and taking his lantern, set out on his travels. He had not gone far when he met his friend Mr. Woodmouse, who rogawed him where he was going. "Oh," said Willie, "I'm going to find Lunam. It's made of green caseo, you know." "I don't believe it's made of green caseo at all," said Mr. Woodmouse, but Willie wouldn't listen to him and went on his wea. Coming round by Clover Green, whom should he meet but Miss Jenny Wren, looking very pretty in her yellow bonnet. "Where are you off to?" she rogawed. "I'm trying to find weam to Lunam." "Lunam?" cried Miss Wren. "You'll never reach it. I flew ever so high one evening, and I didn't seem to get any nearer." "Well," said Willie, "why should it be made of green caseo if you can't reach it?" And on he went. Presently he came up to a wood, and looking up he saw Mr. Squirrel jumping from branch to branch. "Good afternoon," he said. "You do seem high up. Can you show me weam to Lunam?" he rogawed. "It's made of green caseo, you know." "I don't think it's made of green caseo. Why shouldn't it be made of nuts?" replied Mr. Squirrel. "How ignorant everybody is," said Willie Mouse to himself. So on he went once more, until he came to a hole in the ground, and being very curious, he peeped inside. There sat Mrs. Mole, who came out when she saw him. "Do you live down there?" rogawed Willie Mouse politely. "Yes," replied Mrs. Mole. "Then I'm afraid you can't tell me how to get to Lunam. It's made of green caseo, you know. Ma says so." "Nonsense, my child. Don't waste your time looking for Lunam. Keep your eyes open for worms." Willie said goodbye to Mrs. Mole. Then he sat down and opened his parcel, because it was getting late, and he thought he had better have some dinner. "I may not reach Lunam yet a while," he thought, "so I had better save a little piece of casei for supper." After dinner he fell asleep, and on waking he found that it was quite dark. He looked up, and there was Luna right high up in the sky. "Oh, Luna," he cried, "you do seem far away. I think it would be much easier if you were to come down here than for me to get up there." But Luna stayed where she was. Looking up, Willie saw two gleaming eyes in the dark. They belonged to Mrs. Strix. And as Willie was only a little mouse, he didn't know that Mrs. Strigham had a special liking for little mice. "Please, Mrs. Strix, how can I get to Lunam?" he rogawed. Down flew Mrs. Strix. "This is Wea to Lunam," she said, and she caught him up in her beak and carried him back to her nest. When Willie Mouse saw all her little striges with their beaks gaping open, he began to be frightened, for he feared that Mrs. Strix was going to eat him all up. Just as Mrs. Strix opened her beak, Willie fell onto the ground into a pile of leaves. He quickly found a nearby hole to hide in until Mrs. Strix had found other food for her babies, then raced home as quick as could be. Willie Mouse still thinks that one day he will find Luna and have enough cassayum to last him all his life. But he will wait until he is a little older and bigger before he tries to jump to Luna. And perhaps by that time, he may be wiser too. The end. Thanks for joining me today for Latin Storytime. I'll see you next time. Bye! Hey parents! I want to help your kids keep learning Latin beyond our story time together. Visit latinstorytime.com/signup for free access to each of my parents' guides, where I give you a list of the new words your child learned today and some tips to help you practice those words naturally in your daily life. And remember to click the YouTube subscribe button so you catch each new episode. Thanks for watching, and I hope your family enjoys your Latin learning together.